Hey there, and welcome to your practice. For today, no props are needed, but if you'd like to use 2 blocks, I recommend grabbing those blocks. And we're going to get started right in a tabletop position. So come to a tabletop position with wrists under shoulders and knees under hips. And let's just take a moment to make any sort of movement here. Start by maybe moving the hips around in circles. Maybe you start to add in some cat and cow positions there. And just kind of feeling into the body. Get a sense of how your body is feeling right here, right now. Maybe you just sway side to side in the hips. Perhaps maybe looking over one shoulder, looking over the opposite shoulder. Feel free to even make a figure 8 movement in the wrist. And as you kind of sink back into the heels, feel into that movement, kind of moving your body like a snake. Feeling into these sort of nooks and crannies in the body, finding any tender spots perhaps. And maybe if you do find some spots, maybe you stay there a moment or two. But see if you can keep moving though, and allowing yourself to linger in those tender spots just for a few moments. But keep exploring, keep moving. Maybe coming back to some cat cows, playing with tucking the toes under. Just any movement there that feels good and organic. And then whenever you're ready, meet me back in a neutral tabletop, finding some stillness. Start to step the right foot out by the right side body. And then we're going to start to just make some movements now in the hips. So making circles in the hips, using your hands to really facilitate this movement to help guide you making these circles. So feel free to spread the fingers wide, gripping down towards the mat, really allowing you to feel into that sensation in that right hip. And so these circles can be small or big, whatever sort of circumference works best in your body right now. Start to pause there and then moving the opposite way. So you might already be feeling a little bit of awkwardness, maybe some textures there as you're moving. But move slow and bring your awareness to that right hip. And whenever you're ready, start to slow this movement down even more, coming back to some stillness. Keeping that right foot extended out to the side, start to root down through the left hand. Take an inhale, reach up through the right arm, reaching towards the sky. And then exhale, release the hand back down towards the mat. Bring that right knee back in. And then go ahead and step that left foot out by the left side body. And so both hands are planted down towards the mat. Your hands are going to help guide you. Start to make those hip circles on the left side. Really think about gripping down towards the mat as well, really to help you guide your body making these circles. And so we're just inviting in some motion here, some lubrication to those joints. Maybe you've been sitting all day at a desk or driving in a car for a long time. This is a great one to get those hips moving and get some blood flow back to that area. And so start to pause here, start to make the circles the opposite way. And again, just noticing what's different on this side. Noticing the different textures, any and all sensations that might be coming up. And so whenever you're ready, we're going to find some stillness here again. Plant down through that right hand. Take an inhale to reach up through the left arm. And then exhale, set that left hand back down towards the mat. Sweep that left knee back in. We're gonna be back here in neutral tabletop. Let's take an inhale to tuck the toes. Exhale, send the hips to the sky, downward facing dog. So feel free to bend the knees here as much as you need to, especially to get that length in the spine. So spreading the fingers wide. Invite in some movement here, maybe pedaling out the feet, alternating the weight into each heel. And don't worry about it if the heels don't meet the mat. It's totally fine. Keep a nice bend in the knees. We want to find that length in the spine rather than focusing if the heels touch the mat there. So be gentle with yourself. Meet your body where it's at. So let's find some stillness here in our downward dog. Let's take an inhale to rise up on the toes. Exhale, bend the knees, step forward to an easy forward fold. Easy forward fold, bending those knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Find a flat back here, but know that we don't want the spine or the body to go rigid here. We want to find that length again. So think about lengthening from the tailbone all the way to the crown of the head. Take another inhale here through the nose, and exhale through the nose, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, extend a mountain, get nice and tall. And exhale, find a chair pose. So bending the knees, sinking the hips. And if the arms are a little fussy today, maybe you just bring your hands to heart center. So find a version here of chair pose that works best for you, or maybe finding a bind by bringing the hands behind you, having the fingers interlaced. But start to bring some awareness to your feet, noticing how you're standing here. Is your weight more distributed into the soles of the feet? And if they are, shift the weight a little bit back into the heels. Bend the knees as much as you're comfortable with there. And then taking an inhale, start to straighten the legs, reach for the sky, get nice and tall. Maybe you add a little back bend. And then exhale, bend the knees, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, plant the hands, step back to a plank position. Start to lower the knees, tops of the feet. Take an exhale to slowly lower down. We're going to take an inhale here for baby cobra. So just lifting the head and the chest. And let's stay here for a few breaths. So noticing how you're feeling here in this baby cobra pose. If you are feeling like you want to feel a little bit more sensation, feel free to come up into a cobra. Keeping the elbows in close to the ribs. Allowing the legs to be nice and heavy. And then on your next exhale, slowly lower down. Take your time there. Use your full exhale. Take an inhale to come up to tabletop. And then exhale to your downward facing dog. So here in our downward dog, again, feel free to bend those knees. Find that length in the spine. Grip down through the fingertips. And whenever you're ready, let's take an inhale, rise up on the toes. Exhale, bend the knees, step forward to a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, extended mountain. And exhale, hands to heart center. So take a moment to pause there, check in with yourself, check in with how you're breathing. So just coming back to the breath here. Let's take an inhale, reach both arms up. And then reach for opposite elbows. Kind of think of a reverse ragdoll here. So I'm just having my arms up overhead, reaching opposite elbows. And if you start to experience any type of tingling or painful sensations in the arms, feel free to come back to just lower the arms down. But if you can, come to that reverse ragdoll here, grabbing opposite elbows, and then finding some stillness. Let's take an inhale here, and then exhale, side bend to the right. And just allow this Sort of just gentle stretch happen along the left side of the body. Breathing into those left side ribs. Take an inhale to come back up to center. And exhale, side bend to the left. Start to feel into the right rib cage. And not going your full range of motion here, so try not to go deep into the stretch, but we want to just slowly open up the side body. Take an inhale to come back to center, and then exhale, bring your hands down by your sides. Let's take an inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Start to shift your weight into the left foot. Pick up the right foot. Step it back, finding a warrior one. So find your warrior one here. Let's take an inhale, reach up. And exhale, open out to a warrior two. So nice strong warrior two. Check in with your foundation here. So my left knee is bent and my knee can come past my ankle here. So feel free to explore there. It might feel best in your body to have that knee come past the ankle, or maybe just keeping it in a line with the ankle bone. Arms are nice and long, but keep a nice sort of softness to the elbows. Maybe you close down your eyes if you're working on your balance. Nice strong warrior two here. Take a moment to come back to your breath. Feel your feet rooted down to earth. And start to straighten that left leg. Pivot the left foot. So we're here. You're facing the long edge of your mat. We're in a 5-pointed star here. And then start to bring your hands to the hips. So finding a nice stance here. We're going to take an inhale here. And then exhale, start to hinge from the hips. Feel free to put a little bend in the knees there. Allow your arms to fall down. Maybe the fingertips reach the mat, or maybe placing the palms flat here. Finding a wide-legged forward fold. And so if you have those blocks and you like to practice with the blocks, feel free to use those as well. But if the fingertips and the palms don't meet the mat, totally fine. Maybe just allowing your arms to just kind of dangle there. Release any of that tension in the low back. And then whenever you're ready, start to bring some awareness to the right knee. We're going to start to bend that right knee, keep the left leg straight, coming down to a Skandasana. So my left leg is long down my mat. My right heel is peeled up off of the mat, so my foot is not flat. And so you might be feeling a little bit shaky here, but come back to your breath. Slow, steady breath. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. Taking your time here. Finding a little stretch through the right toes. And then let's take another inhale here. And then as you exhale, bring your hands down to the mat. We're going to use our hands to push us up and over, bring us to the back, bring us to the front of our mat here. Come down to a low lunge. So my right leg is long down the mat. I'm just in this low lunge position. Feel free to bring your hands to your knees, or maybe hands to heart center, and allow the pelvis to sink down. So allowing the pelvis to sink down there, notice that left foot rooted down. Let's take an inhale here, reach up. And exhale, find a little twist. So opening out to the left side, bringing your arms down to a T. Find your breath. Take an inhale, reach both arms up. And then exhale, release the hands down to the mat. Tuck that back toe under, lift the back knee, step forward, easy forward fold. Let's take an inhale for a halfway lift. Flat back here. Find that length in the spine. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach all the way up, extended mountain, get nice and tall. And exhale, find a chair pose, bending the knees, sinking those hips. And again, feel free to keep the arms extended out, or maybe hands to heart center, perhaps finding that bind behind your back. We won't be here long, just a few more breaths. Feel your feet supporting you. Take an inhale, straighten the legs, reach for the sky, And exhale, hands to heart center. Take a moment to notice your feet rooted down. And let's come back just to a mountain pose. So coming to a mountain pose here, spreading your feet wide, feeling the toes on the mat. Notice how you're standing. Where is the weight distributed in your feet? My palms are facing away from me, and I'm just reaching down through my fingertips. My chest is nice and open here, and maybe you can just visualize your heart space. Coming back to that slow, steady, nourishing breath here. And then whenever you're ready, let's take an inhale, reach the arms up overhead. And exhale, hands to heart center. Let's start to shift the weight into that right foot. Pick up the left foot, bring the knee up to the chest, and then step that left foot back, finding your warrior one on this side. Let's take an inhale, reach up to the arms, and exhale, open out to a warrior two on this side. So my back is going to be turned to you. So just check in with your warrior two, that front knee, make sure it's in a line with the ankle bone. Arms are nice and long. And maybe you just close down the eyes if you're working on your balance, or finding a gaze down the right middle finger perhaps. Come back to your breath. And then whenever you're ready, let's start to slowly straighten that right leg. Pivot the right foot. So now we're in this five-pointed star. My back is still turned to you. We're in this five-pointed star facing the other side of the long edge of our mat. Go ahead and bring your hands to your hips there. And then let's take an inhale here. And then exhale, slowly start to hinge from the hips, coming forward. And then maybe you allow the arms to just dangle there, or the hands meet the mat, or just the fingertips. Allow the neck to be heavy. And so again, feel free to put a little bend in the knees. Sometimes that can feel even better. But just finding a nice, easy, wide-legged standing forward fold. Notice if any sensations are coming up in the body or the mind. And then whenever you're ready, we're going to slowly make our way to Skandasana on this side. So slowly start to bend that left knee, keep that right leg straight, and then sinking down. So my left heel is peeled up off the mat. My right leg is straight, and just finding Skandasana on this side. So my hands are hands to heart center. Take a few moments here, come back to your breath. And then whenever you're ready, we're going to release the hands down towards the mat. Use your hands to help bring you back towards the front of your mat, coming to a low lunge with the left leg long, that right knee bent. And maybe just bring your hands back to your knee here and allowing yourself to just kind of settle into your low lunge. Allow the pelvis to sort of just drop and be heavy. And just feeling into those hip flexors there. Let's take an inhale, reach both arms up overhead. And then exhale, find a twist on the right side. So just opening up the arms, lowering them down, maybe to just a T position here, but finding your range of motion. So try not to force anything in the body and just seeing what's available in your body there. Let's take an inhale, bring both arms up. And exhale, release the hands down towards the mat. Tuck that back toe under, lift the back knee. We're going to step this right foot back, finding downward facing dog. So you might need to check your position of your hands and your feet there, but feel free to bend the knees and just notice if your downward dog feels any different now. Your body might feel a little bit more open. Maybe your heels are able to come down closer towards the mat just a little bit. But just noticing these small things and becoming aware of the body. Let's take an inhale, rise up on the toes. Exhale, bend the knees, step forward to an easy forward fold. So easy forward fold here, bending the knees. Let's take an inhale for a halfway lift. And exhale, forward folds. Let's take an inhale to plant the hands, step back just to a tabletop position. So coming to a tabletop position, let's take a few cat-cows here. So on your inhale, start to lower the belly, lift the chin and the gaze, sort of spreading the collarbones. And on an exhale, round the spine, chin to chest. So let's do that a few more times here. Take an inhale, lower the belly, cow pose. And exhale, cat pose. Chin to chest, the spine rounds. Let's take one more inhale, lower the belly, cow pose. And exhale, long, slow cat pose. Feeling into this movement here. And then take an inhale to come back to neutral tabletop. Walk the hands away from you and then start to sink back into the heels. We're going to find a child's pose here. So feel free to find a version of child's pose that works best for you, where you can stay for about 30 seconds to a minute, several rounds of breath here. So maybe if you want to have your feet together and the knees together, or feet together and the knees wide, it's totally up to you. But take a moment just to find your version here of child's pose. So maybe you rest the forehead down on the mat, maybe bringing one hand on top of the other and then resting the forehead on top of the hands. So we have a lot of different options here. But once you've found your posture, go ahead and take a moment to come back to your breath. Feeling the breath around the rib cage. Taking those inhales through the nose, noticing how the rib cage expands. And then taking a long, slow exhale through the nose. The side body contracts and softens. The abdomen can soften a little bit more. And so as you continue, just noticing the breath, see if you can soften the back part of the body more and more with each exhale. Feeling into the movement of the breath. And then whenever you're ready, come up onto the hands, and then we're going to make our way into a tabletop position again. And so we're just going to make a few movements here in the hips. So just circling the hips using sort of the pelvis, kind of keeping it isolated to the pelvis, making some circles there. And then go ahead and switch. So opposite side, making those circles, kind of tucking the tailbone under a little bit. And then take a pause there, find some stillness, come to a seat here. So coming to a seated position, allow both legs to be nice and long down the mat. And so we want to come to a staff position here. So just finding a space for the hands. So my hands are touching the mat here. I'm sitting up nice and tall. My toes are activated, but I'm flexing my feet there. Sit up nice and tall. And we want to just kind of imagine a nice elongated spine. And come back to the breath. And then we're going to take a few seated twists here. So whenever you're ready, start to bend that right knee. Bring the right leg over the left leg. And so my left leg is still straight, but I do have a bend in this right knee. My right hand is going to go behind me, acting as a little kickstand and making sure I'm not going to collapse down into the chest. So still sitting up nice and tall. Let's take an inhale, raise this left arm up. And then exhale, turn to the right and bring that left elbow to the right knee if it's available. And then you can play with that right hand placement, keeping you upright. My left fingers are just spread wide and reaching up towards the sky, even though my left elbow is interlocked with that right knee. So finding a twist here. It doesn't have to be anything too deep. But if it is comfortable for your body and it's available, feel free to even look over that right shoulder, even in the slightest bit. And just noticing the differences there. If you are making little sort of micro adjustments. And so to come out of this twist, let's look the head forward and then start to slowly unwind the body, turning the body forward, moving nice and slow here. Release the legs and just kind of give the legs a nice little shake, maybe windshield wipering just the feet or the legs there as well, but making any movement there that feels good. And then whenever you're ready, come back to that staff position. So again, sitting up nice and tall. You can use your hands to help facilitate bringing that neutral spine. My toes are flexed. And then keeping that right leg extended long down the mat. Just bend that left knee. Bring the left foot across that right leg. And so that left hand is going to act as that little kickstand. Let's take an inhale, reach up through the right arm, and then exhale, bring that right elbow to the left knee, finding a little twist on this side. And so again, maybe just placing that left hand a little bit farther back or a little bit upright, just imagining not having the chest collapse down. Keeping that chest nice and open and lifted here. And maybe close down the eyes. And again, if it's available in your body, maybe you're looking over that left shoulder. Feeling a gentle pull along the right side of the neck there. But it's all about finding what works best in your body. Meeting your body where it's at. And so whenever you're ready, we're going to look the head forward and then slowly unwind the body, coming back to center. Release the legs, and again, give the legs a nice little shake maybe. Side to side movement. And then meet me in a position with the soles of the feet together and the knees are draped open. So coming to a butterfly pose. And just take a moment to notice where you're feeling a stretch already. So if you're feeling more in the inner thighs, and that's where you want to feel the stretch, feel free to have the feet closer towards your sit bones. Or if you would like to sort of just round forwards, focusing on the spine, having your legs in more of a diamond shape. And so it's totally up to you, your preference, if you would like to have the feet closer towards you and just kind of sitting up nice and tall. But feel free to also work with the feet, allowing more space so that way you can just fold forward here. So taking a version of this that works best for your body. Whatever version you are taking, start to notice how your body is feeling. Noticing any sensations that are coming up. But try not to have any judgment or labels to those sensations. Just simply turning inward and noticing here. And coming back to slow, steady breath. And then maybe you start to bring some awareness to the parts and pieces that are making contact with the mat. Noticing the sit bones rooted down to the mat, down to earth. And letting go of any tension in the legs and the hips or the thighs. Maybe even just checking in with the face and Smoothing out the forehead, parting the teeth so we're not clenching the jaw. Allowing the face to be nice and relaxed. Having the body at an easeful position here. Feel free to just sort of also meditate on any sensations that might be coming up. And so whenever you're ready, we're going to release the hands. Bring the hands behind you and then plant the feet pretty wide in front of you. We're just going to windshield wiper the knees side to side. So again, taking this nice and slow, moving side to side here. A few more times here. And then whenever you're ready, just come back to an easy seat position as we close out this practice. So feel free to bring your arms out to your sides. Let's take an inhale, reach the arms up overhead. And exhale, bring hands to heart center. Namaste.